Hello and welcome to the new reading vlog. You might recognize the outfit and the setting. I've just finished reading Bad Graces and that vlog should be live and ready for you to watch. That was my first book of August TBR, and I picked up my next book and I decided to go according to the prompts that I picked during my TBR game. So the next book I'm going to read is Love Unwritten by Lauren Asher. This is a sequel in Lakeside Billionaire series. The first one, Love Redesigned, we follow two characters, and in this book we follow another two characters. In this book we'll follow Raphael and Ellie. Raphael is the friend of Julian from book one, and Ellie, she's a nanny and she looks after Raphael's child. And in book one we saw there's certain vibes between those two, so this story is now developed in book two. Lauren Asher's writing, it's very easy to read, it's fast-paced, the books are entertaining, they don't bring a lot of literary value to my life, but regardless of that fact I still enjoy reading them. I'm excited to read this one. I liked the other four books by her that I've read, the Dreamline Billionaires and book one in this series, so I am looking forward to cracking the spine in this one. In the meantime, I am listening to The Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley, and it's not a riveting book. I kind of had my suspicions about what was going on in the apartment or in the house, and a lot of people say this is not her best book, and I have to agree. I'm about 75% in. This is my audiobook, so I will listen to that, and then the next one I have lined up for as audio is The Hunting Party, because I had this book from the library but I never got to reading it because the Amazing Readathon started and I didn't have time, or something like this, something. I've got about 2 hours left in The Paris Apartment, so I'll probably finish that tomorrow and start Hunting Party. So these are my audiobooks to read, to listen to alongside Love Unwritten. And also on my Kindle I am reading a NetGalley arc, The Cracked Mirror by Chris Brookmeyer, and as far as I know there's a story of, it's basically similar to Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osman. I've only read 3% of it, and there's this little village, and one day on a Sunday a body is found in a confessional, and they introduce this lady. She's in her 80s, and I don't know, when I read this character she reminds me of Judi Dench, not this one. In The Cracked Mirror the character I'm imagining is Judi Dench. I don't know why, but yeah, I can't help my imagination, I guess. So I know there's another detective coming to this village, and he's a detective from America somewhere. But I've only started, kind of like skimmed the beginning of that chapter when they introduced that detective. So it will be curious to see how the story unfolds. So yeah, these are my current reads. This is my main one, Love Unwritten. So let's crack that spine. I thought I will check in with you because, making my camera shake, I've read 102 pages of Love Unwritten, and my glasses are so dirty. Anyway, so I thought I'll check in real quick because in 20 minutes I am going to do live sprints with Sarah from Wicked Reading. I've actually never had a chance to do sprints because usually they're at times that I'm not available or busy doing something else, but today I wanted to read anyway, so I thought I'll put the sprints on and read with the people. Oh, that's so much better. I can see now. Let's go back to the book. I've read 100 pages. It reads quick, but I don't know what it is that I'm not compelled to reach for this book. There's nothing wrong with it. I knew what I was getting because I've read Lauren Ash's books before. I will read it and I know I will enjoy it, but it takes a while to get into the book for me this time. And I find in the beginning there's a lot of not reminiscing, like okay, because these books can be read as standalones, but also they're part of their series. Like this sequel will, in the beginning, will remind people what happened in book one, who the people are and everything. And it's just kind of like, I don't know, it's annoying me a little bit. Maybe because I've read the first book and I know who the people are, so you don't have to tell me again and again and again that this is auntie, this is that one, or you have your Sunday dinners. So I think this needs to stop because I know this is the thing. This is going to be exactly the same situation in book 3 when we will get the reminders of who everybody is and whatnot. This could be done in a different way, a bit more subtle, I think. I don't know how else to explain this, but yeah, it's kind of annoying me a little bit. I'm hoping that we're not going to get any of that again or anymore, because 100 pages in, maybe things will start happening. This Rafa guy, he's a little bit of an asshole. I think they're both stubborn people and they kind of need to get their shit together. But it's only 100 pages in still, so I'm sure this will have a happy ending. I have 13 minutes until sprints with Sarah start. So I'm going to go and make myself a drink and read the book. Wait for the sprints. I've sold something on Vinted. I recently had so many issues with Vinted. I don't know what happened, but I couldn't. Also, look at this volcano. I put some tea tree oil on it. Anyway, so I'm pretty much just getting ready for bed now. 6:47. Pretty much getting ready for bed now. Right, so literally a few days ago I had so many issues with Vinted. I could not for the life of me verify my number, and it's taking the emails back and forth, but eventually it worked. So my number is now verified, but I was like, why? But it worked now, so at least that's sorted. Let me see what I have sold. I've added some extra books today to my Vinted. Oh yeah, I thought it was so quick. Yeah, Powerless and Reckless, because I haven't read them. I am going to read them, but I'm not in a rush. And I have pre-ordered special editions of these books. They come out on the 10th of October. This is a Waterstone special edition. I think they're signed and exclusive as well. So I don't know, I pre-ordered them. And then I was like, okay, I might as well just put these on Vinted. And I bought Reckless literally maybe 2 weeks ago. So my mom was still here when I bought that book. But never mind. Someone else can have it. I was doing sprints for the first time ever this afternoon. Sarah from Wicked Reading was doing them for her patrons. I was reading my book, and I've read 45 pages, which is not bad. So Mr. Grumpy, Raphael, he's still being grumpy, but he's a little bit less grumpy now. He's a bit more jealous of Ellie, and yeah, things are starting to work out quite nice. They are working out their differences, and they're probably gonna go on that big holiday to Hawaii soon, so that's cool. I am ready for bed. I am up at 3:45 tomorrow, which means I have about 40 minutes before I have to be fully asleep. I have a short shift tomorrow. I finish just before 11 o'clock, and after that I'm planning on going to the gym. I'm going to post a couple of parcels and then come home and just probably be very tired. Anyway, I'm gonna go read for a bit, and I'll catch you tomorrow. Hello, coming in to check in with you. Yesterday I've read up to page 176, and this is as much as I have to say about this book. Thank you. No, but seriously, yeah, that's pretty much the truth. Not much going on. They just went on holiday. That's it. There's not much else to say. It's just a romance. There's no riveting story here, apart from certain people having a panic attack going on a plane. But really, what I wanted to talk to you about is this freaking book. The Cabin at the End of the World by Paul Tremblay. And let me open my notes, because I actually did notes on this book. Doesn't happen very often, but I had so many thoughts about this book. I had to put them down on something. That's my notes app, because there was so much things going through my head. And I'm just gonna say here, there's going to be spoilers. So if you don't want to watch the spoilers or listen to the spoilers, don't watch. Skip to the next chapter, okay? Let's start with the fact that I've never read Paul Tremblay, and I've never heard of Paul Tremblay before. I've watched a video on Lexie's channel. I'll link it in the top and in the description, probably, if not then somewhere in the cards. And she mentioned the horror movie book, that's the title. She's read it, she enjoyed it, and then she wanted to read The Pallbearers Club. So I was like, let me see who this Paul Tremblay is. And I went on my library app and I literally just searched, and there was a lot of books available, and I just picked the first one that was at the top, which was The Cabin at the End of the World. It starts with this little girl, I think she's around 8. She's playing in the grass, catching grasshoppers, and there's a little cabin, and she's there on a holiday with her dads, and they're by the lake, and it's just peaceful and beautiful, and she catches the grasshoppers and she names them. She puts them in a jar because she's doing some observations on the grasshoppers, and the author painted this idyllic scene for us, and I just felt like, oh my gosh, it was so nice. It just felt so summery and everything. And then Wen sees this big man walking towards the house, but when he starts talking to her, he comes across very friendly. He helps her catch the grasshoppers, and they're having a little chat. And even though she knows she's not supposed to speak to strangers, talk to strangers, she talks to him. And then she sees another 3 people, a man and 2 women, walking down the same path, and she gets scared. And this big guy, Leonard, he says to her, remember, whatever is going to happen, it's not your fault. And it just sounded so ominous, sounded so scary. From that moment on, my tension, my anxiety was up here. I think you would have to read it to experience it yourself, because the fact that the author painted this idyllic picture and then these ominous words we hear, read, whatever, is just it's scary. So anyway, he lets Wen go and get her dad's, and she runs into the house and out on the deck, and where they're just chilling by the lake, and she calls them in. The people that were walking down the path join Leonard, and they all come to the door and they knock on the door politely. Can you please let us in? Eventually they get in. Cut the long story short, they all had visions and they were sent to this place, and Wen's parents, so Daddy Andrew and Daddy Eric, they have to decide who they are going to sacrifice to save the world, because the apocalypse is coming. They had this vision and they heard this voice that one of these people in the cabin, they have to make a sacrifice, a willing sacrifice, to stop the end of the world. From the moment when Leonard said to her, none of this is your fault, and I promise you nothing bad will happen to you, these ominous words, they create this sense of dread and sense of despair. And I felt this with every single cell of my freaking body for the entire duration of the book. I felt it in my soul. And they killed Redmond. It was so brutal. It was so... My shock when they killed Redmond was just... I just found it so brutal. There was so much gore in the description and the brutality. It felt like a slaughterhouse. And like the strange behavior that they showed, you know, being so brutal and so kind of like possessed even in a way. And then after he's dead, switching like that to being so like, okay, let's clean up, let's cook dinner. You know, when the author shows you these 2 sides of these people, you're like, are they crazy? Or are they really possessed? Or what is wrong with them? And then, you know, myself, I had these feelings that I actually believed, I wanted to believe that Leonard, the big guy, and Sabrina, the one that helped them in the end, I wanted to believe that they were good people. And I wanted to believe that they were saying the truth. But then that's it. You have 2 sides again. You have the Catholics or people that believe, and then, you know, you have the atheists that don't believe in anything, just science, and, you know, and then you have people like myself that are kind of in between. We're on the fence. Myself, I am one of those people that will say anything is possible until you prove to me that it's impossible. I will believe that this is possible. So until you prove to me that God doesn't exist, I will believe in some sort of God. Or until you prove to me that it was a coincidence, or until you prove to me that the dimension doesn't exist, or the wormholes don't exist, or whatever. Like, Narnia, until you prove to me that Narnia doesn't exist, I will believe that some sort of Narnia exists. So I'm kind of on the fence. I'm not a believer, and I'm not a non-believer. I don't know what I am. And you know, the ending of this story, it's like on one hand I wanted to believe that they were rich, that the apocalypse was really happening and God sent them, and you know, whatever was happening was just confirming what the visions showed them. But on the other hand, I'm thinking, okay, but this could also be a coincidence. And I am never sure in situations like this. And the ending of this book, it kind of drives me mad a little bit, because I'm almost angry at the ending, because to me, this book is not resolved. For a person that believes in something, that person will believe that, okay, at the end, you know, the God ended the world, apocalypse happened, and that's it, or whatever. The non-believers will say, yeah, so it was just a storm, it was just a coincidence, they probably just had a chat and they went home and lived happily ever after. But for people like myself, an ending like this, ambiguous ending like this, will drive you nuts, because you don't really know what happened. What happened? Like, I want to know. Like, tell me. I want to know. My battery is gonna die, so hopefully this will still record. It's a 5-star book for me, and I will recommend it if you don't mind brutality and gore and terror and feeling these deep in your soul. I highly recommend this book to you, The Cabin at the End of the World, and I will be buying this book, and also will be checking out the other of Paul Tremblay's books. So yay, that's it from me. What is today? Today is Tuesday. Me and Jason, we went to the gym. I'm literally just coming in for like a minute because I just want to record a quick update. You know, yesterday I told you that I finished listening to this book, The Cabin at the End of the World. And today we've watched the movie. And the movie title was Knock at the Cabin? I think Knock at the Cabin with, is it Dave or Paul? Dave Bautista. His name is Dave Bautista. He's the main character, Leonard. We both liked the movie, didn't we? Yeah, we did both like the movie, but it was so different. So if you haven't read the book, you need to read the book first before you watch a movie. It was good though. It was just a lot of elements were changed in the movie to probably make a little bit of a better visual narrative. Also, I have a set of new microphones, so just got these babies, and we are going to plug them in and test them out and see how they compare to the one that I'm using now. Good morning. Ooh, I'm on a GoPro because my other camera is downstairs and I kind of don't want to go down and up and whatnot. It is currently 7:50 in the morning. I was up at 4:45, even though it's my rest day, but I was up because I have an early start tomorrow again. So I got up, got myself ready, went to the gym, and I've done deadlifts and back, and I came back. I just showered. I collected my vintage parcels, more books coming. I think I ordered 4 or 5 books by Paul Tremblay, also including The Cabin at the End of the World, because I want this book as a copy and I want to reread it as a physical copy at one point because I flipping loved it so much. And yeah, so 7:50 I am going to go to have my haircut done. My appointment's at 8:30, and then when I come back, hopefully I will do the bleach and toner, and I will be trying this one today, so we'll see how that goes, and I'll let you know, all my blonde girlies out there. I'll let you know if it's good. The color of this is called Ice White T1. I don't know if you can see. yeah, so that's that. Had a busy couple of days and I haven't updated you much. I am still reading Love Unwritten. I'm about 50% in. It's like up and down with them. I feel like it's a very typical romance by Lauren Asher. It's not that I don't enjoy it, but it's just very samey. So I don't know if I'm gonna get book 3 at this point, because it's not like liking the characters so much that I can't wait to see what's gonna happen with them, and I can't wait to pick up the book. It's nothing like this. I read this book because I kind of feel like, yeah, I have a book to read. But it's not riveting. It's, yeah, I don't know why. I think basically I don't mind Lauren Asher's books, but I think because, but I think because they are so samey, it's kind of like, you know, they kind of get old, and it's, yeah, how much can you read about the same thing, you know, that kind of thing. So I don't know, I'll probably finish this and I will probably not be ordering book 3. I don't know, we shall see. And yeah, so I've got about let's say 340 pages left, and I actually can't wait to finish this so I can move on to the next one. If I get really pissed off with this book, I might DNF it. But you know, it's not bad, it's not boring, it's just very samey, and yeah, I don't know how else to explain it. But yeah, it's entertaining, it's an easy read. It's a book for when you have no brain power to read a proper book. I'm sorry. Anyway, I'm gonna go. I need to do some laundry and then off to the barbers. See you later. I literally just recorded a whole clip without pressing record button, but never mind. Let's start again. So, boys and girls, I decided to DNF this book, Love Unwritten, on page 306. I basically have had enough. There's nothing interesting in this book. Honest to God, there is literally, I feel like we're going up and down, cold, warm, cold, warm, cold, warm. We didn't even get the hot yet. Even though we're in Hawaii on a holiday, we didn't get the hot. Anyway, so a story of Raphael and Ellie. Raphael and Ellie, they met in high school, and Ellie had a secret crush on Raphael, and he was the popular boy. Everybody loved him, all the girls liked him and whatnot, but they never got together. Now fast forward so many years, Raphael is divorced. He has a kid, Nico. He's 8 or 9 years old, but he has problems with his eyesight, and I can't remember the name of the disease, but it's getting worse and worse and worse, and eventually Nico will be blind. So he hires Ellie to help out as a nanny, and they both like each other. They found each other attractive, but because there's a question of employee and employer, they don't do anything about it, but they are flirting a little bit and whatnot. So anyway, Nico's eyes are getting worse, and he tells Ellie. Ellie decides to keep it to herself and not tell the father because the boy asked her not to. He didn't want to spoil the holiday that they were going to. So Nico has an accident. They go to the hospital. The doctors in the hospital tell the father that, yeah, his eyesight is shit, basically. So there's a big drama, and Raphael fires Ellie. And then so she takes her stuff and she moves out to live with her mum and dad. And then they play this full baseball match or something. I don't know what they were playing, softball. And he begs her to come back because Nico's unhappy, and he cancelled his birthday party, he cancelled the holiday and everything. And then, so she goes back, better pay, better conditions and whatnot, and they go on this holiday that was planned before. The three of them, they're going to Hawaii. And this is where I DNF the book. They are in Hawaii. They are going from one island to another island, and basically nothing happened in this book apart from the fact that they had few arguments. They flirted for a bit, and they went to Hawaii on a holiday. There's no plot. I don't think I even like them. They kind of hot and cold, hot and cold, hot and cold. They can't decide what they want. You either say, okay, there's nothing going to be happening between us because obviously you work for me, or you kind of go for it and just like, fuck it, let's just do it. But even though they have these discussions, the following day they keep flirting, and it's just like, why? Also, why is this book 620 pages? This is a romance. I don't think there is need for a romance book to be over 600 pages. This, whatever I've read, just over 300 pages, that should be the size of this book. And the contents that I've read, that's about 50% of the book. That should be the entire thing. Literally, I don't even know. Nothing happened. I'm not happy. I did enjoy the first one. I don't know why I'm not liking this one. The first one at least had something going on. There was some sort of a plot. Here, there's literally nothing. And yeah, I am not going to waste any more time on this book. You might enjoy it. It's an easy read. I think it's one of those books that you can take on a holiday and just read by the pool or on the beach. And you don't really have to pay attention. You just read words. So no, that goes back on the shelf. I will probably list both this one and the other one on Vinted, unless my daughter wants them, then yeah, we'll see. But I decided to pick my next book, and I will be reading The Fury by Alex Michaelides. I never know how to pronounce his name, and I always say it, I know, but I'll be reading this book now. A murder mystery, kind of like a whodunit. So let's see, mixed reviews about this book, but I am going to go in with an open mind and decide for myself whether I like it or not. Shouldn't be too long of a read because I can see the font is nice and big, and it's just over 350 pages, 52 or 53, something like that. So that should be a quick read. And yeah, moving on to the next book. So how are you liking my hair? I think my hair looks good. The haircut looks good and the color looks good. I know that my hair is over bleached. That's why it kind of picks up a little bit of more of that purple violet tinge. So I think I need to get myself like a deep nourishing hair treatment or like a hair mask or something. And maybe tomorrow, I think me and my son are going to go to the gym together, and then there's Boots next door to the gym. So I think I'm gonna pop down there and see if I can find myself some really deep nourishing hair treatment. Reading The Fury, and I am 99 pages in, and so far what happened, we have been introduced to, I believe, all the characters. There's 7 of them on this island called Aura. There's Elliot, there's Lana, her son Leo, her husband Jason, her friend Kate, and there's also Nikos. He's the guy that lives on the island all year long, and he looks after the island and everything. And then there's a housekeeper slash assistant, Lana's assistant, and her name is Agathi. Lana is this very famous actress, very rich woman. Actually, the island belongs to her. It was a gift from her previous husband that unfortunately died. So far, what we have found out is, without giving you any spoilers, one person on this island is in a financial distress, quite serious one, and then a couple of people also on this island might have an affair. At least one of them is a user, as in like drugs, alcohol, etc. What I like about this book is the narrator. Narrator is Elliot, that's Lana's friend. And the way this book is narrated is Elliot is speaking to me directly. So it feels very personal, and it just feels like we're just sitting together, chilling, and he's telling me the story of what happened on the island. So it's quite interesting. There's even a passage here that I kind of like smiled at because it was quite cool. So in that spirit, I asked a question. This is the narrator talking. Do I like you? Of course I do. You're a little quiet, but a great listener. So it feels very quite personal. I like the narration. I like how this book is flowing. I like the fact that the font in the book that I have is nice and large. It makes it easy to read for me. And I also like the fact that the chapters are short, and also every chapter starts on the on the right side. So even if the previous chapter finished here, the next page would be blank, and then the chapter starts here, which I find quite curious, and I haven't seen that before. My OCD part likes it. Honestly, when I was recording the last clip yesterday, didn't realize how quickly I will be back to tell you that I have finished The Fury, and I really liked it. I gave it 4.5 stars on Goodreads and on Storygraph, and I am so happy I've read this book, even though it had such mixed reviews. I feel all the negative reviews come from misadvertisement of this book, in my opinion. This book is advertised as a thriller, and to me, this is not a thriller. This is more of a suspense with a theatrical flair. Make whatever you want up from this. It's hard for me to tell you anything without spoiling the conclusion that you will get from reading this book. I actually really enjoyed this book. I absolutely love the narrative. The narrator was Elliot, one of the guests on the island, and he was describing everything to you as if you were sitting with him and he was telling you a story. And it felt very personal in few places, especially when he's directly speaking to the reader, which I found really, really cool and really interesting. I love that. And I think generally the plot was really good as well. And as you can expect, few twists in the story. There's a twist to a twist. So I enjoyed it, and it's built in 5 acts because all these people, they have something to do with the theater, or most of them, and so the story is constructed in 5 acts, and each act is talking about something that influenced what happened on that island. And I really like that. The only one that I didn't enjoy, because I think it was necessary, was the act when we were finding out about narrator himself. Apart from that, I think if you don't read the reviews, if you just go into this book, into reading this book with an open mind and no expectations, I think you will really enjoy it. I did, and I will be recommending it to people for sure. The pacing was really good. This book just kept me wanting to read it, which didn't happen with Love Unwritten, right? Not quite 5 stars. I don't know what's missing, but it's not quite a 5-star book for me. But regardless of the fact, 4.5 stars, very strong 4.5 stars. I really enjoyed this book. So just to sum things up, we started reading Love Unwritten, which I don't have anymore because it actually sold on Vinted. So I can show you a cover here, but you've seen me reading that. That was a DNF. Then my next book of this vlog was The Cabin at the End of the World by Paul Tremblay, and I absolutely loved this book. 5 stars. This book really moved me in a lot of ways. It really had an impact on me, and I think it's one of those books that it's such a good introduction to an author if you've never read anything by this man before, which for me that's the case. I would definitely be reaching for more of his books. And yeah, super 5-star, 5.5, 6 stars for this one. And then we ended up with The Fury by Alex Michaelidis, and that's a very strong 4.5 stars for me. I think it was such a successful reading week, even though I DNF'd that other book. And yeah, I wish I had more weeks like this, when I'm loving the books, when I'm enjoying the books, and when I cannot wait to reach for a book and read it. So I hope you give these 2 a go, and maybe if you've read it in the past, let me know in the comments. Let me know what you thought about them. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you've watched this vlog all the way to the end and you would like to comment, but you have maybe not much to say, why don't you leave me a wind emoji? Something to do with the wind, a tornado or a wind, something to do with the wind. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching. I will see you next time in the next reading vlog. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!